going to achieve your first million. And today we have Elona joining from New York, which is the CEO of the Live School. So Elona, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Yes, well, the first step is have a viable business model that aligns with your $1 million revenue goal. So that would be the first step. The second step is know your market really well and when they're hanging out, and always be surrounding yourself with those people that you're looking to serve. The third step is understand how that aligns to your vision, mission, and values. The fourth step is how clarify your marketing channels, right, to be able to reach that market and audience. The fifth step is to craft out your prospect journey and your customer journey. And then, of course, the last step is always scaling with systems and team.
And tell us, why do you decided to become an entrepreneur? Do you have any entrepreneur in your family, any friend? Why you decide to become an entrepreneur?
The catalyst to become an entrepreneur from being a high-level corporate CEO for a Fortune 500 company was to follow my purpose. I no longer saw a future for the company I worked for, and I saw what a profit-driven company could do and the toxicity in this culture. So I said, I never really thought I'd be an entrepreneur before. I said, based on the two options in society, work for someone or work for yourself, I'm like, let me try the second one. I know I got a lot of skills and experience, and plus I've always been a passionate person. So this second option seemed to be the next one I wanted to try, and here I am.
So what is your opinion about, the women CEO or the own the value that is women in the corporate space as well as from funding? We find out that the level of funding for women founders is really, really low. And also you in a C-level position, yeah? How you navigate the issues having a C-level position in a corporate, which is usually a male-dominant position, yeah? So how do you manage when you are sitting in a room full of boys and you want them to take you seriously?
Well, yes, absolutely. It's challenging to be in a male-dominated industry and also a room full of guys. But to me, I always led with value, and I always knew my stuff. So confidence and understanding how you're actually adding value to the equation kind of helped me remove myself from my gender, whatever I was. Right at the end of the day, it was about the performance. It was about the value that I was able to add. So that's kind of how I looked at it. My first clients were women in leadership positions in high-level executive roles. So those were the women that I was supporting when I first started my business. And those are some of the challenges. I think women are rising. We're in a good time. Women are brilliant, right? We have very strong skills that we were
Still a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I said there's still a lot of work to do.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of work to do, but every day I feel like we're making great progress. And the more we don't, I think my learning around that is that don't define yourself by your gender, but just your capabilities, grow yourself and add value wherever you go. And the rest should be just a process of building, really.
Yeah. So what can we do to bring more, to empower more women to become entrepreneurs and start their own business? What do you think that is the missing link?
I think there's a lot of women entrepreneurs rising, flooding the markets in a good way. What can we do more? Maybe role modeling, right? Successful women showcasing their journeys, their ups, their downs, or the other challenges that we face within our homes and communities. Just speak about it. Education. I'm a big believer in education because the more you understand about yourself and the more you understand about how to make conscious choices in your life, the more you can make the right decisions that align with you. So that's kind of what I think we could do. Just share, sharing is caring. Share our journeys and share the things that we are going through. And I love life experience, which is why my company is called the Life School, because everything is about personal journeys and professional journeys. And when you combine both, everybody finds connects their own dots at the end of the day. So education for sure, which is, we're blessed to be able to have lots of information out there nowadays.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I always say, with education, those one that don't have can have. Yeah, this is a story with the I interviewed like 8 months ago the Minister of Finance of Zimbabwe, and this is what he told me. He told me, Harry, we're having a program where we are lending money, we're giving loans as a government to farmers to plant and to grow the vegetables, and then when they pay back the loans, we're gonna give them the loan back. And he told me, okay, guess what? We have huge percentage. The percentage of women paying back the loans, growing the business, and asking again the loan and paying back is way, way, way superior than men. So he told me we are more than happy to lend to women. Yeah, and this is to women, and this is actually a project. This is a government project. You know what I mean? So why, if it's proven, right, and you don't need to have a PhD in economics to know that John Gray, the author of Men and for Mars and Women and for Venus, is we met him, yeah, and he told me personally, Harry, their men and women are different, but that doesn't mean that one has less value than the other one. Yeah, in fact, the way that because men and women are different, we boys take more risks, but women somehow take more what we call a calculated risk, which is for a lender is fantastic because the money diminishes the risk to get the money back. Yeah. So why we have documentation like the books of Young Grade, and we have data, yeah, on experiment that have done in countries like in Zimbabwe, which is with no United States. There are a lot of they have way less resources. Why then a women founder, especially if it's minority, could be black, Chinese, whatever, then when you get a female founder, nobody want to. There is angel investor doesn't want to get the money. A venture capitalist doesn't even want to, and we take the records. Is terrifying. So, what is the source of this? What is actually happening? Why we still keep discriminating women in the society that we are today? If have been proven, you look at you, people like you, they reach CEO in male dominated environments, and now you have your own business, right? So why what is it that we have to that we're reducing the opportunity to women?
Yeah, I think on the investor side, I am a minor investor, but that's with companies I already coach to help them grow and scale. I mean, coming from the perspective of male investors and why they don't, fund or invest or, raise money for women, it might be a few factors. Maybe because comfortability of what's familiar. They already, have worked with their counterparts, so they understand them, and it's safety, right? When you're investing, obviously you're looking for the highest level of returns for your investment. So I think that could be one reason why. And also the other piece is because women haven't really shown themselves. There's still a very small percentage of women that are, you know, I guess, successful in the definition of sort of what they're looking for within their deals that they make. So I think it's maybe not enough women that have risen to the occasion yet because of all the other things that we've been talking about, the what's been holding women back for years and generations, that they don't, they might not trust that. But I hope that changes because we are right. I mean, back to your book, Women Over Venus and Men Are from Mars. I think it's great to celebrate our complementary abilities because we are different genders and we bring something different to the table. When people understand how to complement and partner up all those complementary abilities, will be able to definitely do more good in the world, because that is my mission as well. So rather than looking at something better or worse, we're all different humans, right? So complementing each other's abilities only is going to make the team stronger, especially in partnership. But yeah, back to the investor side. I mean, yeah, if anybody's listening, I definitely would encourage an investor to do that, because women are nurturers. We're good right? We're good managers. We manage our homes. We manage everything around us.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, and again, if you're looking for a high, fast return, risk adverse investment, or if you're looking for, something steady that's going to be sustainable, I
That
think
will give
women.
you cash flow consistently. Maybe a women founder is going to be the right person for you, right?
I think so. Yes.
Then look, this is my own experience, yeah, in my own companies when I started as an entrepreneur, yeah. My first employees, they were all girls, yeah. And I were hiring the girls for sales, for everything. And this is what I find out. Number one, they were all better than me at everything, all of them. To the point that one day they told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you in the office anymore. I'm like, what? I say, you can go home. You need to come here. They told me, the girls told me this true story. They told me, in fact, the only problem in this company is you. They told me, go home. That's what they gave were telling me. But the truth was that they were better than me in everything. And also, second, they were very accepting. Women, when you don't want to go out with men, you say, oh, why you don't go out with me? I say, I don't want to go out with you. Why? Because you're ugly. Women will tell you on your face what they think. And this is for businesses, is especially for an top like my one. It was really good because I knew that when the guests were telling me, Harry, have a look at this, have a look at this, when they tell me 2, 3 times, I really need to look at this because there was something that I really need to deal with, right? Well, boys sometimes are, oh, okay, we are friends, blah, blah. But when you're in business, it's different. You need, the faster your team tell you the truth was the problem, and the faster the team embrace you how to solve it, is how you throw your company. So I have an amazing positive experience to working with women. Yeah, actually, my girlfriend she's also an international speaker. She owns a book publishing company, and the investors friends of mine, venture capital friends of mine, lots of them, they always telling me, Harry, your best asset is Lily. My girlfriend, that's what they tell me. So the whole point is that I think that is also a component of ego, right? That the males or the entrepreneurs are hanging to this ego, right? And well, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna allow, women to lead me, women to tell me what I need to do, and things like that. Well, I think the whole point is the opposite. The whole point that you build the company to make yourself obsolete, and it's women who has to be in charge of the company. Who cares? At the end of the day, yeah. I don't have any shame to say that they were all better than me, because back then all my employees were better than me. Even today, everybody that works for me is better than me at everything. All of them. Including when we start to do this podcast, I call my IT director and said, listen, I want to do a podcast. And they told me, Harry, you want to do this? I said, yes. I said, okay, we don't know what it is, but we don't know in details how to connect all the internet, but give us 3 weeks and we're going to come back to you, yeah? And after 3 weeks, my team came back and told me, Harry, look at me, press the button. You don't have to do anything. We already developed the website, the feeds, go directly to the social media. You just press a button and that's it, yeah? So to this very moment, I don't even really know what actually happens after we finish the podcast and I stop, because automatically my team create a website that distribute everything and I don't even know where the thing goes. Make sense? So the point of the story is that when we are humble, right, and we allow leadership, and we create and we generate and develop leaders, then we can remove ourselves and we can empower. Yeah. So what is your point, Leona? Do you think that women also have ego? Because ego at some point is good, because it's the drive to make you do. That's why you create and value the same at the first time. But sometimes when the ego becomes the person egocentric, now it works in completely different direction, and probably that could be a cause that we don't see more women.
Yeah, you brought the conversation to something that I also was thinking about. I mean, just being intimidated by women, right? And ego-driven leadership. And
100%.
it's also rising. I love that you mentioned that obviously your best team is women, and a lot of majority of my team is made up of women as well. And yeah, we just take charge, and we are nurturers, right? We nurture our clients, we nurture the operations, we nurture, communities, all the things that are so important for the business. But I mean, that's kind of crazy that people lead out of that insecurity, because ego in that level, when you're leading because you're power hungry and you believe that another person is a threat to you and you're comparing yourself to them, it's really the negative side of ego, right? Because just like everything that could be positive, I believe in the law of polarity, right? And this is truth with ego too, where ego can be out of certainty. You're leading out of your ego because you believe that somebody else can, be better than you, right? Because you live in comparison and you really haven't figured out your own confidence and you have a lot of gaps inside. It's what I usually say. So that's the negative side of ego, which is really led by fear. And then the positive side of ego could be the driven side, the ambitious, positive, ambitiousness. Being motivated, inspired by other people, and never settling or having good expectations for yourself. Every day, learning and growing and taking the next step. That is a very positive, healthy, I think, component of our ego as women. Now, do women have more ego than men? I think it's a gender thing. I think it's also cultural programming, that guys, we raise them as little boys. You mentioned boys, they used to be raised as little boys to be the provider. And I feel bad for the other counterpart as well, because they had to be in these high pressure roles of providing. And obviously that's ego driven and competition and all of these old things which are falling. And maybe women really haven't had to do that. So I think ego is really equal on both genders. It's just a matter of how you nurture that, because I know, I mean, I have done a lot of work with my ego too. I can be very ego driven if I allow that part of myself to come out, because I believe we have both sides, the dark and the light. So it depends kind of what you nurture and how you bring that about in the world. So, I mean, I don't know if there are studies out there about this specific topic, but I think that it's not a gender thing. It's more of a sort of programming of how things have been operating. But everyone has an ego. And every time when you level up spiritually, because I do a lot of that kind of work as well, you realize that it's always the spirit and the ego are into this battle, and you want to dissolve the ego so that you can get to the highest level spiritually that you possibly can. And that's available for any gender, because soul doesn't have a gender. So that's kind of how I look at it from our neuroscience background. And I don't think that it's a gender related thing.
Wow, very good. And let's talk a little bit more about that, about um, the cycle of the entrepreneur, right? Because everyone they say, well, I want to build companies, I want to make a million, become a millionaire, right? But behind that, there is a lot of factors, right? That it comes into the question that the entrepreneur don't even know that they even exist. Yeah. Which is something that you're talking, how to be aligned, how to be spiritually aligned, and how to release the negative emotion. I mean, you have a neuroscience background, so when you know what happened when you started the company, right? The client uh, doesn't want to pay you at the beginning, and the supplier want to charge you more because nobody knows you, so you are starting out. So everybody's kind to giving you a chance, and all this process, developing this skill, it creates the negative emotion in your brain. And if this negative emotion keep accumulating, 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 plus the negative emotion that you can have from childhood, maybe an issue that happened in your childhood that that something happened with your parents, and you make it mean that you're not lovable, or you make it mean that you're not stupid. So this negative baggage from the business, adding up to a negative baggage that you already carry out from your psychology as a human being, when this thing is topping over and over and over, this emotional pain can actually create physical pain that can lead to cancer or to heart attacks and everything. So how you see the life of the entrepreneur holistically, where they can make money, but also they are healthy, wealthy, and happy. No having $1 million in bank account and then die of a heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been more a holistic person, even when it comes to business and leadership work that I do, because I look at the person like a human being, right? And we want fulfillment at the end of the day. And my work is really uh, helping people align purpose with profits. But that comes to kind of asking those deeper questions, like what is the things that in our experiences, what is the pain that we've overcome? What is the passions that lead us? What is the life that drives us? What excites us? So once we kind of have clarity on that, then we can now build a business around that, because we live in this world where you don't have to choose a business model that's just money driven, where it's just like I want to make my million or get in the 10 million, or the I guess the greed and what we want as humans. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, nothing wrong with, I've done my healing around money stories myself. So nothing wrong with aligning the second part, which is just a tool, but it should be our servant, not our master. And because we have actually grown up in a society where everything is like money, 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 nobody has taught us that we actually have a purpose of why we come here. And we have a calling, and we have gifts that we can discover every day. And that's actually our purpose, to be able to help ourselves first discover them, help ourselves through them, and then share that with other people. And now we can do this through entrepreneurship. Because at the end of the day, when I have also seen, even my personal, that was my story. I climbed the corporate ladder. I had the American dream. I came here when I was 15 from Albania, moved to the US at that early age. And then I climbed, I chased, I got my marriage, I got my home, I had a good salary, I had all the stuff from the outside that was supposed to be beautiful. But I was not happy in the inside, because back to what you said, my story was that my value in the world, and to get value and love from the people that love me, I had to always achieve. I always had to do. I couldn't just be good enough for who I actually was. So I had to go on a personal development journey to heal the holes of why I felt like I always wanted to achieve. Because guess what happened? I put my health at risk. I had anxiety, burnout, my relationship started cracking, my marriage, all the things around me, because I was just so goal oriented to always achieve something, to always do something at the cost of my own self-care, my own sanity, and all of those other things. So that, things like that wake you up, right? I just wake you up and we're like, wait, there's more to life than just freaking money and chasing goals. It's about being, because we're human beings, not human doings. So understanding how to be healthy and be conscious when we make decisions really has a lot to do with that purpose I talked about. That's why I don't believe purpose, especially for entrepreneurs, is not just business. Business is just one channel in your world.
The
You have
vehicle.
trips, you have your health, you have your wealth, you have your hobbies, you have your passions, you have your talents. There's so many buckets in our life that I just, yeah, never really saw anything to be just one thing, because we are really nothing when it comes to spirituality. We're like, we know nothing. We're not anything. We're like a piece of dot in the big universe where we feel loved and unconditionally accepted, and we really feel like one with everything else, right? So if you understand a lot of these concepts, you really, the thing that I used to drive me crazy before, I'm like, let me just, everything is a game. Learn
Mhm.
how to all through things and learn how to find joy in all the things that you're doing every day. And I've learned, very hard lesson for me, that it's not a destination that I'm reaching for, it's a journey. Because I've always been more of a left brain sort of person, where the mind was always my strongest asset for business and strategy, but my master for when it came to rule my life, and everything was here, and I had a monkey brain mind and fear and all of that. So I had to learn how to descend to the heart and the soul, which when you understand how to do all of those, then you're just a happy human being.
So, Elona, yeah, I have a good news for you. Welcome to the club because we all been there. Yeah, I mean, I have interviewed 500 multimillionaires in this very podcast. If I tell you a story, I'm gonna depress you. You know, you're gonna start crying here. You know that things that like people, people that make a million lost it, make a million lost it, and because let's face it, when we are kids, yeah, when we are let's start, we are a winner, we're a winner, only one sperm make it, yeah. But when you're learning how to walk, you're unstoppable and everything is possible, yeah. And so when the child is has the early age, the circle of possibility is infinite. You can achieve anything you want, right? When you learn how to walk, you didn't give up. No one give up. Everybody finally walk. But then what happened is there's gonna be a certain incident in our life. Maybe when you're 3 years old, maybe when you're 5 years old, maybe when you that is like it will determine who you're gonna become. And probably you always have to achieve, because maybe it could be somebody in the school, could be your dad, could be your sister, your mom, maybe someone tell me, oh, you never achieve anything. And now you make it mean that these people doesn't love you, and they're not gonna love you if you don't achieve things. What happened is that from that day, Elona is die, and a new computer is running you, where you go inside this rat race that I'll show you and I can do it. Nothing wrong with it, because at the end of the day, it depends on who you are, right? But the thing is that running this life and this machine, there are people that run the whole life and they never find out what actually happened with their life. You have like one computer running like a machine, and you start to run like a machine to prove something to someone that maybe don't even remember that I told you that. This is how we human beings operate. The problem with that is that eventually this is exhausted. It leads exactly what you share with us, no fulfillment. To me, happened the same thing, right? I we want to make a million, a million, a million, a million. Then the first day I make a million, I'm like, that's the whole thing. It lasts me 2 days. Though it didn't give me any fulfillment, didn't give me anything, nothing. So I'm like, what's the point, right? The whole thing, however, fulfillment, which is something that you share with us, completely different, right? And this is where the path starts, when you start to realize, okay, what I'm actually doing this, do I actually have to prove something to anybody? Yeah. Do I actually what I need to be fulfilled? Because the money in the bank account not gonna give you fulfillment. Let me tell you what give me fulfillment. I do conference all over the world and help business to grow. So I do talks in universities, in corporates, in banks, all over the world, right? And sometimes here in London, based in London, sometimes I had to take the metro, yeah, because I need to go to a meeting. I don't usually take it. I walk because I live in central London, but sometimes the meeting is far, and then, well, eventually I take the metro, and then I'm taking the metro, and then there is one. I always dress like this purpose so people easy recognize me. So the people want people in the metro. They Harry, is that you? Man, I saw you speak at this Les Brown event. I was there on the second floor. I said, which year? When? Where was that? No, man, you don't remember. I was there that day. You say this. Look, this is my business. These are my children. I did what you say. And look how happy I am. Let's take a picture, blah, blah. It's actually a little bit embarrassing. You have all the people in the metro looking at you, and I honestly don't know what to do. However, when I arrive home, I'm thinking like, wow, is that something that I say that I don't even remember? make a huge positive in the life of someone, and they're happy because of that. That gives me a level of fulfillment more than any money in the bank account. That gives me drive. You know what, Elona, you get paid in better currency. You get paid in love. You get paid in appreciation. You get paid in the smile of people greeting you. So the journey, in order to find that fulfillment that you talk about it, yeah. And I guess this is why you open the the life school, because it's something that actually you know that the job that you're doing there, with your students, with the people in that school, is actually something that you know that can make a huge difference in their life. Because, like I always say, with education, those ones that don't have can have. And if you want to be successful in life, you want to be a millionaire, if you want to do anything in life, the only thing that you need to do is learn, because the people that already achieve these goals, they know something that you don't know. That's why you know that. If you knew what they knew, you would be there, right? So knowledge is everything. So tell us a little bit more, Elona. How what is your view in fulfillment? Yeah, and like I said, that's your story, everybody's story. All the entrepreneurs, we all been there in one way or another one. We all have been running with the machine. We always try to achieve that goal. That's why we made the company. And sometimes when we achieve it, we find out that what's the point to do everything, that we have to rethink. We need to also see what kind of business you want to have. My first property business, we managed to save 5 million. I did it because I wanted to make money. Guess what? I'm not passionate about it. So eventually, the whole business, you don't, you won't have the energy to continue, even if it's because it's not your passion. So tell us about your journey. How you decided to open this school, and tell us a little bit more about the school. What are you teaching? What can we learn there?
Yeah, I mean, that would be my also, if you ask me the question, what do you think your legacy would be? It would be positive impact, whether it was big or small. I would never know. A lot of times, even with the ways we operate virtually in these virtual spaces, we just take our content for granted and we're just like, well, we're focused on these vanity metrics and the followers and the views and all of this. I never really cared for that stuff because to me, at the end of the day, even if one person heard that video or saw you on stage or you maybe just said hi in a train station, swapping up with people that are recognizing you because they're seeing you somewhere, so you look familiar to them. And if you just have a little impact in people's lives, that's it's really what it is about. It's all about human relationships. I mean, we have probably heard the studies that happiness and comes from the quality of our relationships, right? So we just do all the other stuff to try to really get to the core, which is really that. And that's kind of why I started the life school. I've always been very strong. So it's for entrepreneurs and CEOs to help them scale up their businesses, their companies. I work with companies 0 to 10 million because I know their challenges very well, which is usually inconsistent cash flow and also the scalability issues that they're facing with new markets or kind of just they're tied up with their time in their company. And I help them become independent companies so they can do more good in the world. So inside the Life School, I do that through fractional CO and HR services or through just business consulting done with you or done for you. Because over my time and experience, I've seen the processes that work. I've seen kind of how to give people the best results. And the reason why I named my school the Life School and not just specifically niched around some sort of business school, it was because I always had this vision that life was just not only just about business, it was always also about all these other things. So it really allowed me to open up my brand to more of the purpose, the personal development stuff, and also the business stuff. So I kind of married both, and that's kind of why I named it the Life School because entrepreneurship is just like school, right? In traditional school, you didn't always learn all the skills, but every day you are a student and you're learning and you're growing and in your self-development, your evolution, personal evolution is going to dictate exactly how big or small your company also is. So it's so correlated together that it's, to me, that's kind of like one thing at the end of the day, because you are one human. I always work with the individual. That's kind of the basis of everything, because then you can take yourself to your family, to your health, to your business, to your team, to a stage to speak, or wherever else you feel called to kind of pursue, as far as like your purpose is concerned. So it just allowed me to just do also a lot of the inner work that I feel like is honestly the most important work. I mean, the business, strategies and things like that. Yes, they're easier to learn. Obviously, they're more like the hard skills, but the soft skills are when most people struggle. And I've also seen this in my HR experience, where 80% of the struggles people have in their performance is always personal stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And the company always thinks it's all the programs they should be implementing, all the new things you should be taking people on, and new salary compensation packages and all this stuff, when it was really like so much deeper than that. So just
100%.
my journey has showed me that that's where we begin. We begin personally, and then we build professionally. And it
I
shouldn't be the
I love it. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I think that seriously, if you can and you're gonna start a business or you're thinking to start a business, if before you do it, you do a lot of work on yourself and find out who you really are, what's really your purpose, um, and what you really and what's the point of what you're doing. Yeah, because let's face it, the if we go to business and we haven't deal with our side of life, it's actually dangerous. The business actually can kill you. I'm telling you from my own experience, because when I have my first business, I have all my clients want to talk to me. There were 177. They all want to talk to me, and I'm thinking these people are gonna kill me. They don't care if I sleep or not. I need to sleep. And if I talk to them, what is I gonna do the whole day, And then I have my team and my clients, and everybody wants to talk to Ari, and I'm thinking these people are gonna, they are gonna give me that so many, and I'm only one. So I had to start to design processes to hire the girls, to um to try to understand that the other day I interviewed an entrepreneur here. He has three business making millions in three of them, and the guy was vomiting blood. And he told me, Harry, you know what? I took a plane, I went to Thailand, and from Thailand I took the decision that I'm running these businesses. This business is not running me, because it was so much stress, so much thing that actually, his health get affected, right? So we believe this is what we believe, Elona. We believe that the entrepreneurs, they deserve to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. In order to achieve that, they have to work on themselves a lot parallel that on the business. Is this spiritual side that you talk about, or whatever they want to do. I go for the work, for example. My girlfriend goes for the swim. Some people meditate, some people pray, but entrepreneurs need to find a way how they can release this negative emotion. How can they actually work on themselves? How they can find actually the purpose, what they really want, because otherwise they're gonna jump into a space that they're gonna be trying to achieve one goal, to prove something to someone. What can happen is that at the end of the journey they're gonna feel empty and not fulfilled, and they have to start all over again. Yeah, and actually find what was really the drive. And I like a lot, Alona, what you share, because when you start to surrender all that, like for example, you said, look, I have nothing to prove to anyone anymore. You understand? Everybody, you can keep saying that you're the big deal and you have the corporate and everything, and you can be wearing this persona because you actually have achieved it and done it for real. Yeah, you know what I mean. And you can now say, but I find you very humble. I find that you really want to help your people to go to 1 to 10, which is like you said, there is all the challenges out there, and The only people that can help you is the only people that have done it and the only people that have seen it. And but you come from very humble position, saying to the entrepreneurs or communicating to your students, like, look, let's look this holistic. Because you know what happened? If you look at holistic, rather than 10, they can make 100 million. Why? Because they're gonna be doing it from the space that they feel they're not working, or that because that's the purpose, that's what they really want, and maybe I want to make the 100 million because they want to have more people, right? But when this part of the behavior the entrepreneur is not addressed, uh, a lot of the whole thing become a roller coaster, which is have been my life and probably the life of everybody listening here. But eventually, this the last question, Leonora. Yeah, what advice do you have for people that they reach the success you reach, and now they don't have the courage, and they are now in a corporate position with the house, with the Ferrari, with the this, with that, and they are hanging on to this, and they are empty and unhappy inside, and they don't have the courage to quit, because if you quit, what happens? Who's gonna be you? You're gonna start a company yourself, and then you're gonna have few employees at the beginning, and no, you prefer to have this big status and that people perceive you that you are a big deal. And so some people spend their life there, stay in the corporate, and this is sad. It's sad to go. I'm so lucky. Yes, in the last 17 years, I've been in business. I do business with people that I like. I only talk with people that I like you. I meet people that I like. I wake up when I want. So few things that but can you imagine, even if you have everything, to spend 8 hours, which is most of the time of the day, in a place sitting with people that you don't like? Some of them can be bullying you, or some of them, want to take your position, and they want to push, and you need to go out every day of your life to handle this stress because of the status. So tell us, Elona, where do you find the courage to do it yourself in the first place? So maybe it can be a role model for the other corporate women and men, because a lot of men are in the same boat. And they prefer to have that status that actually be happy and fulfilled. And, look at you, how quiet you are in your room, very calm, and, teaching people stuff, which is very good. The only way that we can make the world a better place is to teaching people. Yeah. So tell us, where do you find the courage to do that?
Great question. I want to read some statistics. It's very short about what happens with the sustainability of your company when you do some of the things we've been talking about. So purpose-driven companies grow at a faster rate. A study by Deloitte, I have it on my phone, found that purpose-driven companies had 40% higher levels of workplace retention and were 30% more likely to be the leaders in their industry. And overall, they tend to outperform competitors in the long term with financial performance. So the numbers are also there when you are doing a lot of your personal work and how that actually translates within your company. Now, back to your question. I think it's really important to challenge our beliefs and our value system. I do this every day because the thing that I thought I valued that was coming more from fear, from programming, from the wrong place, is really, once you clean that up and you ask those deep questions. Dean Graziosi came up with the 5 whys. Go deep 5 times. Back to the answer you're answering initially. I do a lot of this with my clients because I find that we can eliminate so much junk from the way that they making decisions, because a lot of their decisions are coming from this bad place or old programming of things that they thought they want, but it's really not what they want. So go deep 5 times why if you can. He says 5. I usually sometimes go even further depending on what I'm trying to challenge. So I think that's the one thing that I always do every day in my life to ensure that I'm staying, again, now aligned with my newfound knowledge and experience that I have learned. And then the other thing is pay attention to the things that light you up. Now, if you're going to make a change between, obviously, the old lifestyle that no longer serves you, I say I'm a baby stepper, right? So slowly get the clarity, make a plan, Be conscious about where you're trying to go, whether it's a 5-year plan or 2-year plan or 1-year plan. Don't just change everything all at once and drop everything. Obviously, you worked hard to even build what you have. And I do believe that everything served a purpose. Even that phase of your life taught you a lot, right? And you build some stuff, which you can leverage now in your newfound awareness to your next stage, wherever you're going through. So I'm not a believer. I don't like to destroy stuff. I like to clean up, but also build on top of stuff that's healthy. So if there's things in your life that obviously no longer serve you, see what you can do with that. And if you can keep it, you keep it. If not, you don't have to keep it. There's so many options. But you won't know that part unless you do this other part where you get clarity around what is it that you actually want, what's important to you now, who are the people you want to surround yourself with, what is the important for you in this next phase and stage of life. What did you always dream about if money was not we know the famous question. If money was not something to consider, what would you do with your life? Like, well, how would you wake up a day in your life? So visualize and go through some of those processes to get some of that clarity you're looking for. And if you need help, there's plenty of support out there nowadays for people to hold the space for you and ask you those questions so that you can start to brainstorm around those things that you want. And that's where everything begins. But I do everything in a baby step type of way. I'm not a big believer into like crazy, extreme changes in life, unless obviously something happens to you outside of your circumstance. You can't control that. But if you can control, you turn the wheel slowly towards the life that you actually want. And don't just, throw out everything else that's old, because I think in society nowadays, because there's so much consumerism, people like to just like quit marriages, throw money here and there. No, I mean, you already build it. Let's look at some of the things that are serving you and some of the things that you can let go. It's almost like purging, I call it, in spirituality, like get rid of old so new can come in, but it's got to be more conscious. I don't believe in extreme anything, because usually, if it's extreme, it's really not coming from a good place. So just slowly, stay aware. Awareness is 80% of the work. Once you have it in your level of awareness, then 20% is actually the implementation, which is easier because now you know what you want, right? And that's where everything begins. I always work with levels of awareness, because the more you are aware, the better you can become as a leader, the more you can make innovative decisions, the more you can be a market leader, the more you know what is the right next decision for you, the more you can use your intuition, which is so powerful, and we all have it. We just didn't know how to listen to it or develop it. So you have a lot of amazing tools inside of you, but you're not going to discover those with all the junk that's clouding everything, which is fears, old unhealed trauma, programming, all the stuff that has happened to us. So it is an ongoing, continuous process journey. There's never an end to this. This is part of our evolution. But if you are intentional with that, you will definitely make a lot of progress, and you just won't recognize the person you were even like a year or a month ago. So you're going to love it, and then you're going to be addicted to it in a good way. And you're not going to, accept the old stuff that maybe you accepted for the wrong reason. So yeah, that's what I have to say. It's cleaning out inventory, emotional inventory, financial inventory, whoever, like relationship inventory, who's around you, and also your work, your day-to-day work, which happens to be your business if you're an entrepreneur. So that's a process that's always ongoing. And the older I'm getting, the more mature I'm getting, the more spiritual awareness I'm receiving. I'm realizing that I really don't need anything to be happy. I am happy. There's no material stuff that makes me happy anymore. I just, just to be alive, and I get connected to the source, and that's really all that we need. But to get there, we got to clean up a lot of those things that you talked about, which was me holding on to all the achievements, all the control, because I thought that was going to keep me safe and secure. We're already safe and secure, and we're always loved. Even though we didn't always receive that love from our parents or from ourselves, learning how to give that to ourselves and fill ourselves up is going to be the catalyst to a completely different life. And where, your value system, your belief system, everything will change. And you will look at your old life like, who is that person? And that's how you know you're heading in the right direction, because you are growing, you are evolving.
And how about, Elona, a life that you don't have anything to prove to anyone, that you are at peace, and you are just following your purpose, following your mission. Like, for example, like this podcast, we don't know how many people are gonna listen, but if someone is listening and make a huge difference in their life, and if they take seriously what we're talking about, yeah, because we sharing with you guys here the truth. Yeah, this is reality. These are real stories from real people. This is not coming from a fiction book. So you take it on board, then you can actually be fulfilled, and you can design your life and your business in a way that will work for you, right? You can have that flexibility. Then, but if you're in love with the conversation that we're having here with Elona and you want to learn more about that, yeah. So, Elona, how people can find your school and how the process work if they want to learn a little bit more about what we discussed today.
Yeah, just to get the conversation started and get some free resources I put together for new people that don't know me yet or we haven't connected yet via this podcast, I would say check out my website, elonaloparicoaching.com, and they'll find ways on there to access the free resources, but also to further connect. At least let's get the conversation going. I find that all the new audiences that we tap into because of the positive impact that we want to create, it's all about human relationships. So just like anything, let's get the conversation started, let's get connected, and then look for ways to further support one another. That's kind of what makes the world a beautiful place, and the way that we can all collaborate with our gifts, our experiences, our whatever resources we've built thus far. So I would say the website would be the best spot.
Fantastic. And then let's make entrepreneurs happy and wealthy and healthy. How about that? Yeah. Without having to, sometimes we have entrepreneurs out there that they are suffering, because they are working 12 to 14 hours Monday to Sunday. They don't have to. Oh, wow. Very nice. Well, you see?
Wealthy.
Yeah, you see, you have it there. Elona, I think you're brilliant. You are so clever. You're so brilliant. Yeah, you made my day today. Thank you so much for joining the podcast, and let's keep working on this. Let's keep working inspiring, because at the end of the day, we take the risk as an entrepreneurs. We employ people. We move the society forward. We take all the risk. If you go to a bank, we are the biggest risk. You go to a bank to ask for a loan or for a mortgage. They give the mortgage to all my employees and to me down the business I want to give because they said I'm a huge risk. So we are in a place that, when we are entrepreneurs, we are the last, the last coin of everyone, of the institutions. Yeah, everybody want a doctor, we want this. So entrepreneur, oh my God, that's a huge risk. It loses the business, does everything. So we take all the risk. We take a lot of responsibility.
World shakers. We are risk takers and world shakers.
Absolutely.
World unless you take a risk.
That's why, Elona, we decide to be more than anybody healthy, wealthy, and happy, because we deserve it like everybody else. It's not a more than anybody else. It's like everybody else, right? And our journey is a little bit more complex because we receive 10 times more pressure. With 10 times more pressure, we need to take our own decisions. Anyway, it's more easy that you get paid and they tell you what to do. You don't have to say anything. But we are in the other scenario. So thank you so much for your time, and for all of you following this Unstoppable podcast. See you in our next episode. How brave entrepreneurs like Elona break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.